On his podcast today, Scott Adams gave a warning about videos that were going around about black people beating up white people in various situations. Now, I haven't watched too many of those videos myself. I don't get any enjoyment out of watching people beat up other people and stuff. So, one of the things I've tried to avoid is watching those videos. But there was one video I did see, and I wanted to talk about that because while Scott Adams was talking about how it's just a few accounts who are publishing these videos on places like Twitter, and some of these videos were actually from years and years ago as opposed to current day things. One of the things I wanted to mention was just how deceptively they can be presented. For example, the one video that I remember watching of this type was one in which there were three black boys who were beating up a white kid, and the way that it was presented was that here are three black kids stealing a white kid's bike. Because in the video, one of the kids actually does ride off on the white kid's bike. But I'm looking at this video and I'm thinking to myself, now first I saw it with the sound off. And with the sound off, you can barely get any kind of context from it whatsoever. I mean, all you see is these three black kids who are beating up on this white kid, and then one of them rides off on his bike. But who's taking the video? You have to wonder, because it's like, is this like an older brother? Is this a father? Is this somebody who's just so stupid that they're actually going to film a crime in progress? So you got to think, is there something else going on here that I don't know about? So I turned the sound on and I forced myself to watch the video again. And of course, nobody likes to see a kid get beaten up, but at the same time, I wanted to get all the context that I could from this video. And what I saw and heard in the video from what they were saying, it became clear that the reason that the three black kids were beating up this white boy is because the white boy had called them a racial slur. Now, I can't say or judge, or I'm not going to, try and throw my hat in the ring about whether or not that was a justifiable response for this kid to basically have the crap kicked out of him for a racial slur. But the kid was on the ground going, I'm sorry, and then the kid who rode away on his bike, he wasn't actually stealing the kid's bike. He was just taking it and riding it off kind of as a show of, ah ha ha, you can't stop me, blah, blah, blah. So it wasn't an actual theft in progress. In fact, whoever it was, whether it was an older brother or a father or something who was filming the thing, eventually came to the point where he's like, okay, the kid's sorry, all right, lighten up. So whatever you would think of the beating, you got to realize that there was an additional context above and beyond what you were given to think. Because whoever sent that video around on Twitter was saying this was just a clear-cut case of three black kids trying to steal a white kid's bike, and that's not what was happening at all. So that's the additional caution that I would give to anybody out there who is like a fan or enjoys watching just to get one's blood up of watching these beatings videos, is that you don't know the context behind most of these videos, and you really have to if you're going to pass any kind of judgment on them. Now, like I said, I'm not a fan of violence. I don't like the fact that the basic response to this kid was to beat the hell out of him. Although I looked at some of the stuff that they were doing, and I can't tell whether or not they were actually really hurting him or not. It could have been just playground violence or whatever you want to call it, but it certainly wasn't what it was presented to be. And I would caution anyone who's watching these videos into taking whatever the descriptions are at face value. And for God's sakes, if you can turn the sound on, just to make sure you're not missing some important context that way. That's all I wanted to say on that. I noticed Scott Adams has been mentioning that a couple of times, and I remembered this one particular instance from my own experience on Twitter, back when I was allowed on Twitter. And I wanted to give my own point of view on that. So thank you for watching. Please do subscribe. In fact, do share this to Twitter so that people can get this, because I can't put it out there anymore. And follow me on Gab. That is where my new social media is. And then subscribe to pick up on future videos. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.